Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to Moscow, and welcome to Food City, the largest food market in all of Russia. And I thought we'd go and have a look around. This place is crazy. The word Food City derives from the fact that this place is so big. It is a city in itself. Now, I'm standing here by entrance 12. The furthest entrance is number 17 over there. And then this is the standalone building that stretches the entire way down this road. I'm actually in the main middle car park of the territory of Food City itself. Just to give you some kind of perspective, if it's even possible, the actual car park can hold 6,000 cars. 6,000 cars can park here. And then trucks, or tractor trailers, whatever you want to call them, it can accommodate 2,000 trucks simultaneously, which means they can arrive, unload, and leave. And across the road from the main building, which is where we're going to walk in very shortly, is what they call the cross docks, or the main area where they've got fruit and vegetables, and they've got 8 halls that take up that area from way off in the distance all the way down right here. Yeah, you still can't even possibly see, it's so big. And then there is even an outdoor area. There is a lot of people coming and going. Now, this is actually technically part 2 of the video. I was here yesterday filming the outdoor area only in a standalone video, just to show you fruits and vegetables and all things fresh. And now what I've decided to do was to film the indoor section as a different video. So depending on when you're watching this, maybe you want to check out the other video, or you're here because you watched the first one. It's also a 2-level building at the same time. And all of the downstairs area is food, and then some non-food items, and then everything upstairs includes restaurants, cafes, all sorts of non-food items, restaurant equipment, absolutely everything. It is a place like no other. I think even beyond Russia, there isn't an equal to this place. There is a couple of different trading hours for Food City, and the main part of the actual place starts trading from 2 a.m. until as late as 9 p.m. I'm here in the afternoon, so I've missed all of the craziness. Now, I'd imagine, being that a lot of what's purchased in here is wholesale and bulk amounts, people that own restaurants, cafes, and businesses come here to buy daily products, and then they're done and dusted well before the sun comes up. One thing I will say as I walk in, this may be a little bit of a longer video, so just be aware of how long it is. Perhaps before you sit down, grab yourself something to eat or a cup of tea, and be ready to be overwhelmed. I think that's the first thing that you get when you come here if you've never been here before. Now, I know perhaps a lot of people who are from Moscow or the Moscow region perhaps know Food City, but there's a lot of people who may never have been here before, may be coming here for the first time, and it's a very overwhelming place. It gets very busy, and you get a little bit frustrated with the amount of people coming and going. So there is quite a few different elements to this place, and there is a retail side to it, which is a lot of the shops that I'm showing you as I initially walk in this front entrance area here. And items that are individually sold as retail purchases, either with cash or with a credit card. And then a little bit further on, as I walk around, you're going to see the more wholesale side of Food City, and then the bulk nature of things that you can buy in large quantities, things that perhaps aren't necessarily food. There is some nice bread here. So there is, if I'm not mistaken, 24 aisles to walk down. Now I'm just going down the first aisle from where I initially walked in, and there is a lot to see. If you can imagine it as one of the world's biggest food markets, it might give you a little bit of a feeling of that. They have sorted out things in here by types of products, by categories of products, but no matter when you walk around, one thing I will also point out, as I'm filming, it may cut off at some point, and then I'll start filming again, and then I might get cut off again. Now, in Russia, you can film anywhere in a public place, particularly anywhere that's got a door, any business, and it's completely allowed, and it's actually legal that I can walk in here and film. However, places like this also have some additional rules, and I've taken a few precautions to make it easy to film this video. So if you do notice that it cuts off or somebody's talking in the background, please just excuse that, because I just can't edit it all out, or I'd need to film for half a day to be able to get one video. And I really hope you enjoy this walk around as it is though. The other thing with this video is it's not about pricing. Now, the fact that this place has hundreds, if not thousands, of shops and stands and vendors, you are going to get good prices. You're also going to be able to find in here things that you can't find anywhere else in Russia. There's even things in here that I can't find in Australia, in America, Canada, England, and here I am in Moscow, in one of the largest food markets in the world, and I can find anything. And no matter what you want, it is in here somewhere. The thing is finding it. That's the key. Or finding an existing shop that you might have previously been to and finding it a second time. It's just an incredibly fascinating, crazy place. It is a food lover's paradise. So beyond just buying normal food that you're going to cook and have for lunch or dinner, there is a lot of specialty things in here. There's a lot of products that may not be run-of-the-mill or mainstream. However, it's in abundance, the actual items. I am here on a Thursday afternoon. Now, I will stress again that this place opens at 2 in the morning. So by the afternoon time, it's a bit quieter, and there's not as many fish swimming in the tank, and there may not be as many vendors in the afternoon, or not as many shoppers as there are early morning. And the amount of traders here, I estimate it at around about 3,000 different places that you can shop at. Now, if it's more than that, I would not be surprised. If it's less than that, I would be shocked. We've actually walked into this fish and seafood area, and then all of the stands that have all sorts of different fish, caviar, smoked fish. You can even get a goldfish. Maybe they're just for display and not for lunch. And then in each of the zones that you walk through, you'll see here A, B, C, D, E. They've got different categories of food. So if you are wanting only seafood or only dairy or only meats, you can find it by going to the different zones within Food City itself. And then don't forget, there's even an upstairs area as well. I just stopped for a little pit stop to actually have a drink, and as I leave the area with the fish, what I'm actually doing is walking down the middle part of the whole place, and I'm trying to give you a bit of an overview of everything as I walk by. Well, I'm trying to, but it's very difficult because there are so many things. Every time you turn left or turn right, there is something else to see. And then you might notice on the sides of the walkways the bulk products and all of the things like sodas, drinks, and from all sorts of different countries beyond Russia. A lot of water, soda, alcohol. And it's not just a little bit of it, it is truckloads of it. Coca-Cola in glass bottles. And as you see down the corridors here, the amounts of bulk items. So these are all purchasable either individually and in quantity. So they want to sell it to you in cases, pallets, trucks, whichever quantity you desire and however much you want. Juices. Now most things very typically don't have prices on, and it's a price on application, but there is certain things where they're putting the signage on. There is this middle area now where I'm at, which is focusing on alcohol and drinks, spirits. So there's entire shops that have, I'm going to say, any possible drink that you like, and then also alcohol in any size of drink that you like. At the same time, there is every possible food that you can dream of, every way that it's packaged and sold, and it's just staggering and overwhelming at the same time. You know that there is literally aisle after aisle of different companies and different vendors selling probably what you want and a lot of things that you didn't want when you came here. My wife said in the previous video, when you come here, come with a shopping list, because there is no doubt that you'll end up buying way too much, and especially if you come here on an empty stomach, you'll buy things you didn't need. Have a look at these cases of pistachios. They've got them in such bulk, they're vacuum sealed in these large packagings. Dried mangoes, and then when you look inside, they've got it absolutely stacked up with anything you need. There is dates and dried fruits till your heart desires. You can also buy things in smaller quantities. There is seasonings and different items for food. You can also get teas. You can get any type of nut and dried fruit. So this is all by weight. So you can buy this in smaller, more retail sizes. And then, of course, everything in larger boxes. It's really up to you how much you want. It's just a matter of finding the different stand. See, have a look. You can get absolutely anything in a dried fruit. Absolutely anything. I think we need to go into one of the alcohol shops. There is about 30 of them in this middle cluster of the main building, and there isn't a type of alcohol that is not in one of these shops. And the selection and the amount of choices, this is even beyond what I can buy in a traditional alcohol shop anywhere in the center of Moscow. And have a look at how many types of Macallan they have. Glenmorangie, Glenfiddich, up the top there, the Johnny Walkers. There is the King George V up there as well. And it is staggering. What's really underwhelming is they have so little Russian vodkas. But the amount of choices is rivaling any alcohol shop anywhere in the world, especially in such a small shop. Brandies, cognacs, and then the choices of wines. Now this is just one shop. It would be impossible to show you this entire place. But there is every possible product that you want, and they are stocking the shelves even while I'm in here. Just the wine selection. This is amazing. If somebody who's watching from America can perhaps let me know about RC Cola. And I was thinking this is Russian cola, but it says on there Columbus, Georgia, right on the side of the bottle. So is it Russian or is it American? Please let me know. The one thing when you are here, it is very easy to get distracted by seeing products from every corner of the world in one market, and your eyes start going a bit funny trying to figure out where something is from. As I'm walking around, it's really interesting because I've been here a lot over the years that I've lived here, and I think every time that I come here I see different things that I didn't see last time, and I might walk down one of the aisles that I haven't seen before, and then to see things that are in bulk quantities and giant size packaging. It's really so interesting. And I know I'm sounding a little bit happy about walking through here. It is such an interesting place, and it's so underdocumented on social media, this sort of place. So I got all of the containers for food. If you need it, washing powder. And have a look at this stand with chocolates. And for a person like myself who makes content about supermarkets and shops and retail businesses, This place is kind of a unicorn of a place to be able to make content in and show it as I'm walking around. Now, the video that I wanted to make is talking about this main building and just the sheer size of it and the amount of items. It's not about food prices. It's not actually even about the people that are here, that are working here. Just the nature of coming to the largest food market in Russia, and probably one of the largest in the world. Even just the size of this building is on a whole different level. There's a tea vendor here with endless amounts of tea, and you can buy it by weight. You can buy it in packaging. More of the spice and dried fruit shops. It's also bulk candy here. Now, if you go to smaller markets in Russia, this might be how you would see things for sale. So they would actually buy bulk packaging like this and then open them and then sell it individually by weight. So you know now a little bit of the secret of where these shops get their food from. Now, it may look like there isn't a lot of shoppers in here, and I completely agree with you. Thursday afternoon, this is a working day, and also the fact that the trade here starts as early as 2 a.m. really makes a difference with what time you come shopping and what's available. You can get different types of honey. I've probably walked past about 30 or 40 different ones. I mean, these spice vendors as well, there is so many of them. Pasta. I mean, how many types do we need? I wanted to show this shop over here. They have cooking oils. And not just a few of them. They've also got them in the giant containers on the bottom shelf. And then all of the choices here as well. This particular shop with all of the different olive oils and olives. So they focus on imported items. And a friend of mine, when I explained that I was coming here, they said you should make a video showing Australian products. Now, it's not as easy as you think to find them, but in Food City, it doesn't take much. Down here you'll see Cobram Estate and Red Island. This is a very well-known Australian olive oil company, and they've got the larger 3-litre cans of them right there. So, as I'm walking around very randomly, I've always got one eye open looking for some Australian-made items. I can't make an entire video about it because it's not as simple. And I don't think the video would last that long because of how few items I can find. And in Russia, even if you go back before 3 years ago, there wasn't a lot of Australian items in shops. Mostly it was only wines, and that was about it. There is a shop here that's got salamis, hams, and deli meats. They've actually got it closed off because the whole shop is a refrigerator. I just want to say a big thank you to the lady in the olive oil shop. She actually called her son, who spoke fluent English, and it turns out he's my subscriber. I just mentioned to him that I was making a video here, and then he's like, I know you, I know your videos. And that was his mum in the store, and she didn't realize the connection that we knew each other, or indirectly. And her son is dealing with the import and export of Russian goods and the import of foreign goods into Russia, and particularly food goods like that we just saw in the shop. Over the years since I was first at this place, they've definitely made a lot of the vendors and shops more customer orientated and more customer friendly, and almost making them more supermarket like, where they've got things that are easier to shop for and make it feel like you're coming into a grocery store. And over the years, I think the management of this place has tried very hard to improve that customer feel to Food City, because generally when you come here, it's incredibly overwhelming and it's very difficult to walk around and shop and try to find what you want. Of course, there's different sectors with different products, but when it's in such bulk amounts and such large quantities, you know, not necessarily that's what you want to do and how you want to shop. And I think every time I'm coming back here, there's a different feel to the place. They did open the Moscow Metro station about 700 meters from here just last year. So there is now a lot more accessibility to this place. What is super interesting is there's a pallet of Grey Goose sitting just here, and Grey Goose and its parent company haven't been in Russia for 3 years or more, and yet you can see a pallet of it sitting there. Need some flour. When you come in as a consumer or as a shopper and you don't understand how Food City works, and you just see stacks and stacks of product, you kind of get a little bit put off by it, right? I mean, you're thinking, my gosh, I can only buy in bulk. I don't own a restaurant or a supermarket for resale. And what they've tried to do is encourage the retailers to create this smaller part of the store where it's got individual quantities, and try to bring that retail customer in here. And it's just overwhelming. Is this rice? I'm not sure. I think it is. So there's just one booth here where they've got rice stacked to the roof, and then right next to it are the bags of the different dried, what are they, like powders for cooking, and then again all of the fruits, nuts, and what I would call snacks, and a lot of people would say otherwise. I really do hope, from a personal point of view, this video is interesting and insightful. Now, I don't come here that often. I probably come here maybe once a month. Actually, the main reason I like to come here is on the second level. They've got some cafes and restaurants where you can have very delicious food, and you can have very nice afternoon Now, if you do come here not to shop for food, you can definitely come here quite easily, just for a couple of hours, have a wander around, maybe grab something that you might eventually cook for dinner or lunch. But if you really were to take your time and slowly try to enjoy the place, you know, you can spend whole day here and you can be overwhelmed. How are you? Здравствуйте. And even just meeting people, having a chat. So this area here, maybe I need to give a little bit of a warning about the fact that it's meat, and there is a whole area at this one end of the market which has all sorts of types of meat, and particularly all butchered meats. So you can get it in any cut you like, any type you like, and it's just on a bigger scale, the amount of vendors. And you know, the thing is, if you're not happy with one, just walk to the next one, walk to the next one, and keep going until you find what you want. If you might want to watch my video that I did yesterday when I came to show the fruit and veg section, I did briefly show what my wife purchased. I only bought myself like one thing, but my wife got chicken, she got some beef, she bought some peaches, some other different fruits, tomatoes, and you know, things for everyday life. I mean, literally things that we would buy on a normal basis at our local markets, we purchased here. We also came and had a nice lunch at the same time. And you know, we probably didn't overshop. It's very easy to do that coming in here because there is shop after shop after shop. And you know, particularly a lot of things that you're not seeing at your local market, that you come in here and you're seeing it on a bigger scale, and just the amount and quantity of things, it's really just a lot to take in. Coming upstairs to the second level, Food City becomes the not so much food city, and it turns into a general market, and it has absolutely everything and more. I generally don't come up here to do some walking around because you just get lost in all the different aisles and lanes. There is actually a couple of other markets in Moscow, particularly that focus on clothing. One of the places called Sadovod, which is a place that deserves, you know, its own separate video. I have made a video there before. I mean, where else can you buy a kettle and a pair of shoes right across from each other? Jackets. So there is such a mix of things when you come up to this upstairs level. I don't possibly think even walking through for a few minutes does it justice whatsoever. The assortment of things from one vendor to the next is a lot. There is all of the cafes at the end of the lane here as well. Get yourself a chainsaw or maybe a bottle of perfume. I think most people know Food City really for the downstairs area, not necessarily coming to buy a roll of carpet or something like that. It's this treasure trove that just keeps on giving as you walk around, and the amount of shops. So this whole upstairs is duplicated from the area downstairs, and they have segmented this off as well into different types of products that you can easily get lost and caught up walking through these shops as well. I mean, did I really come for Coca-Cola, a carpet, and some olives? I'm not sure. The upstairs area for me is probably more well known for all of the different cafes and restaurants. And I think there's probably about 30 or 40 different ones that go down this entire lane on the right hand side, and it's all restaurant style dining, and you can choose food pretty much from any region, either here in Russia or somewhere else beyond that. And then they also have the bread guys right here, so you can get fresh bread, and they're cooking it right here in the tandoors behind. You can just see some of them right here, and 60 rubles for one, so you're paying about 70 cents for fresh bread. And then there's all different cafes that have pastries. So all the restaurants on the right, and then these different bread or bake houses. Now it doesn't look probably as appealing as the bread tastes, the way that they handle it and, you know, on sell it. So they actually cook the bread in the ovens right here. You'll see different ones. Now because it's later in the afternoon, I think most of them are slowly shutting down for the day, and they've just got everything here in baskets. So some of the different pastries have different ingredients. A lot of them have potato in them or chicken, meat, and they've got the ovens that cook everything quite literally in front of me. And I will say this stuff is delicious, and the fact that it's fresh and cooked almost in front of you is something that you need to see. All of the different bakeries, so they do work around the clock, I think, just looking at some of these. So they're not just selling it to people that are walking in like I am, they're selling it to people that are then reselling it in other parts of Moscow. So they're picking it up fresh and selling it the same day. And it's as simple a process as that. If I could bring one of these tandoors to Australia and sell the bread like this, I would be able to retire. I mean, I couldn't sell it for 30 rubles, that's an absolute certainty. I mean, 40 cents for a bread roll. I mean, these are quite large at the same time. That is very cheap. Now, I just noticed on the wall there it says no smoking, no alcohol, and no photography. So I'll just walk by. But I think a lot of the people here now in the afternoon who are slowly winding down, coming for something to eat, maybe a cup of tea or coffee, and to relax. Now this upstairs area has a lot of different zones, and it's almost hard to kind of cover it. What I might do is walk down this one though. It's normally when I come from my cafe that I like to go to. I always walk this way, and I think we're gonna get some flashing lights here. They've got some spare part shops, mostly for trucks, and all of the parts, I think, primarily for the trucks that are outside. They've got all of the oils, lights, lamps, anything you need. The panels, these are the poles for inside the actual truck itself. And there is shop after shop. Where you see the blue tarpaulin up, it's normally meaning one of the staff might be out for lunch, and they've got less people covering the store. But you've got all of the things like the mats and the branding for the trucks. Everything possible. Even all the stickers. The Volvo mats for the wheels, oils. And all of the things like rear view mirrors, lights. So it's such a random thing, or maybe it isn't, and I'm overthinking it too much, that Food City as a place has more than just food. I can get myself a wheel arch liner for my Volvo truck. I can get the massage seat, all of the things like headlights and wheel trims, mirrors. So I think this sort of business has spawned from all the truck drivers that come in here and lay over while their trucks are loaded and unloaded. And there's a whole separate market that's come out of this in Food City. All the accessories, there's even air horns, cameras. It's really crazy. I am actually slowly walking around the place in a bit of an order to try to show you different things and also try to find things maybe that I haven't seen before that I can show. And it's just interesting each time I come that I do notice things that I hadn't seen last time. This area I'm walking through here has all of the industrial kitchen supplies, so for things like restaurants and cafes, and all of the things that you would ultimately use to set up a restaurant, and then buy all the food from here, and it becomes back full circle again. This upstairs area also has a lot of the wholesale vendors, where they've got things that are strictly in bulk or in large quantities. So you're not buying individual packaging, it's whole boxes or crates of things. And there is just vendor after vendor on this whole alleyway here. And it's just staggering that there is this many companies and they're able to do this much business. I think these are walnuts. Somebody knows otherwise. Get them in 10 kilo bags. Tried mango. And I'm not too sure what this one is. But there's just such a diverse mix of things. And I think over the years, it's also changed the dynamic of this place, where not everybody in Russia is coming solely for fruits and vegetables. You know, people are coming for other things beyond that. There is actually a electronics area here. Now in Moscow, there is also a few different electronics markets that you can go to. You wouldn't really think of Food City as the first choice of a place to buy things like phones and accessories. You've got different places. Gorbushka is a very well-known place, and I think everyone in Moscow might know. And then Sberbank market as well. But shop after shop of phones, and then all of the accessories, and quite a lot of these also do screen repairs and sell the parts for phones. If you are wondering if there's a shortage of tomato paste, I think this is your guy to come to. And there is an entire shop right here and also things like pickled vegetables, tomato paste, and things for making pastas. Plenty of stock. I'm going to say it again, you know, when I'm walking around and I see this abundance of food and product, it's staggering for me. Now, if you think of only Moscow as a city, there is close to 17 million people who live in Moscow. And this place, they say, accounts for somewhere between 15 and 30% of Russia's food that passes through here. So you can see just on the scale the amount of product that is needed and what ends up getting sold through this building. Of course, I don't want to show all the food city in one video. I do feel I've shown a fair bit of it. There is quite a few areas upstairs that I didn't include in the video, and certain products for sale that I didn't show. So if you do make it here, definitely go and have a look upstairs and check out a lot of the bits that I've not shown. One thing that's difficult to really do on this video is to give you that feeling of just how big it is. I mean, if I was literally to leave the camera recording and walk around, I think 3 or 4 hours. I came here quite a lot earlier than I started filming, and I met some friends. We had lunch, and then they went out their day, and I'm here still walking around. And I could literally walk around this place for days on end, trying to find something that's different and unique. I mean, just the people in here and the characters and the way they interact with you. They've got macadamias just there. It's an interesting place just in that, you know, everybody has a story. It's very well known, this concept of video. And not everybody would like to be on camera, but just to talk to some people, it would be nice. But I respect everybody's privacy, and I hope I've done this video justice showing you Food City. And ideally, if you can watch both videos, it makes a lot of sense to see the outside area and then where we are, or where I am now, walking inside. I'm gonna walk around a little bit more, and I think we'll be nearly there at the end of the video. I find it interesting how this place really has changed a lot. And when I first came to Russia, I came here a few times on my own without my wife. She never liked Food City because of how big it is, how overwhelming it is, and how much choice there is. And you can completely understand it. You know, I've been here many times with friends before and walked around and shown them it, you know. And then my wife is a good example. She can happily shop at the local stores where we live. I mean, you will pay more money. You'll get less value for your money because somebody has to buy it from somewhere, then on-sell it to somebody else. And Food City is where most vendors come to buy things and then ultimately resell them. But the reason I think a lot of people like to come here is for the choice and the selection. And you know, there's a lot of delicious food here. And then there's everything else that you didn't know you needed or wanted. And just by simply walking around, you know, your whole world opens up to how many more things there are in Russia. Of course, there is a lot of locally produced items. That's a given coming in here. And then you've got a lot of imported items as well. So you can get things like all of the different alcohols, all of the different oils, so many different foods as well. Now, Russia has a lot of friends and they have a lot of neighbors, which I think a lot of people forget about in the bigger picture of Russia as a country, and what's possible through domestic manufacturing and then through importing, so bringing things in from other countries. There is endless shops as I walk around with products that really maybe I won't see somewhere else, and it takes coming here to experience this sort of market and realize what Russia's capable of. Coming to this other far end, there is this retail element that creeps back in again. So you go from one area where there's the wholesale products, and then one area where there's this retail feel to it, and areas where you can buy things just in normal quantities. What a lot of them do is they basically buy them in bulk from here, then resell them in more normal sizes. And just have a look at how nice this fruit and vegetables are. And what they tend to do is, these sorts of places, they've got the first dibs on everything. So they can go and hand pick what they want from the markets outside and across at the cross docks where all the trucks are, and they can get the best of the best before all the retail vendors come in. And just how nice. Now perhaps there isn't as many shoppers in this area. Particularly on the weekends, this place gets a lot busier. Midweek, it won't feel as busy depending on the time of day that you're here. But just the quality, the selection, and the assortment, it just keeps on going all the way down this corridor. They also have some drinks here at the same time. Even some different types of Pringles, Monster Energy. So it's just fascinating how they start off selling one thing and then it evolves to quite a lot of other things over time. In a recent video, I was showing some of the fruit and vegetables in a supermarket, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember the word pomegranate. And now it's ingrained in me and I can remember it very well. And I think, or I know I recognize everything here. How nice do these strawberries look? Now there is some mangoes up here, grapefruits, watermelons. However, can anyone tell me what this is called? The gentleman working here was trying to explain it, but it still didn't make sense. Anyone knows what it is? I don't know. Everything else I'm good with. All the types of tomatoes, avocados there. Is that local from Russia or is it from somewhere else? There is some more of them right here. Interesting. As I make my way out of Food City and walk towards the metro station, I will actually put the information about this place in the description. I'll put the map pin and the address, the website. So if you do want to come here or you want to learn more about it, it's very easy to do that. And there's quite a lot of people coming and going now. Most people going to the metro, and there is also a few bus stops that go to the neighboring areas around here as well. It's been really very amazing to come and make a video. Now, I have been here hundreds of times and not brought my camera or not turned it on. So it's really something different to come and show it to you and quite literally document what Food City is about. Now, what's important is I've showed you just the inside part of Food City, and there is a separate video that you can watch either after this video, or maybe you came from that video to this one, where I showed you all of the outdoor area and all of the food and fruits and vegetables that were there. So it was quite interesting just to be able to split it up. I think this video is still going to be long, and it's unavoidable sometimes because I really want to show as much as possible. This area around the metro has really been improved. The amount of things that they've built into this area and the improvements to the traffic management, and even just improving how the buses come in and out of here, and the fact we can go and grab the metro and I can be home in around about an hour from now by catching 3 different trains. I'll be able to get home. I could take a taxi home, but that would be too easy. I'm more than happy to catch public transport. I've done it all my life. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, post a comment. I think if you're a Russian viewer, you probably know Food City. You've heard of it. Have you been there before? And if not, if you're from somewhere else in the world, how does this compare to your local market? As the sun is beaming right behind me. Now it's very nice in summertime here. You can be out much later and not be bothered by what time it is or when it gets dark. Obviously completely opposite to winter, when it'll be snowing -20. There'll still be people coming to this market though, year round. And of course all of that indoor section is where the market steps up. And then everything that's outdoors temporarily now disappears because it's just too brutal to be outside in the cold. So thanks. If you want to follow my Telegram, click this link. I'm always in the chat, and there's lots of nice, friendly people there. And if you want to watch an old video on the channel, very easy, that'll come up right now. You can watch something different, maybe something you've not seen before on the channel, and broaden your horizons. Thanks everybody. I'm off on another adventure. Bye.